Welcome to Anatomy and Physiology. This video is to give you an overview of how the course works and how to access the things you need in Canvas. So the first module has the syllabus, the binder materials. So this link will take you to all the documents that are in your binder. So if you lose a page or something happens and you need to print something out, you have access to all those materials. Here's a link to my YouTube channel where all your videos are posted. And here is a link to Quizlet, which is a website we use for flashcards. Quizlet is also an app that you can put on your phone, and I highly recommend putting the app on your phone. It makes studying very easy and convenient. Each week has a module. Assignments are due by Friday at the end of the night of each week throughout the summer. And there is a lot of assignments here. So you can see for June 5th, this is all the things you have due for June 5th. And this is 201 and Bio 200, it would be very similar. The pattern we follow is for each chapter, you start off with a pre-class quiz. If you look in your binder, every chapter, with the exception of chapter 1, begins with a pre-class assignment. This is guided reading. You read the chapter and you fill out those notes from what you read in the book. Then you come on to Canvas and you take a quiz over the assignment in your binder that you just completed. So all of the questions in this quiz are directly from the pre-class assignment in your binder. This quiz is timed. So you have to make sure before you take this quiz that you read the chapter and you fill out the assignment in your binder. Then as you take the quiz, have the binder open to that assignment and answer the quiz questions. That's how you get points for reading the chapter. Notice the other things here are grayed out. You have to complete the items in the module in order. Once you submit the pre-class quiz, then you will have access to the video. And once you submit the video, you will have access to the lab and soft chalk and so on. With the videos, once you open this, it will take you to a video where you will take notes. So if you look in your binder, the next thing after the pre-class assignment is the video notes. So it follows along with your binder. You'll watch the video, you'll fill out the notes in your binder. As you watch the video, it will pause and questions will pop up. You answer those questions to get points. Then you will do your lab. So the labs in soft chalk are new. And after that, you will do the regular chapter soft chalk. So I'm going to come over here. This one is not in student view. This one you'll notice is in student view. This is what Canvas will look like when you log in. I'm going to show you an example of these. So here I have chapter 19. The soft chalks I have used for several years. The point of this is just to give you a way to practice the material. So it's after you have learned all of the material. The soft chalks are to practice the material. So therefore, after you have learned all of the material and you are ready to take your test, this is just something you do to practice before taking the test. So these are fun little activities. Here's a crossword. In this one, you flip over the cards and you drag it to the pile it matches. There's where you put things in the correct order. It's just different fun little activities. Notice each one is worth a point, and each one has a restart button. These activities are set up so that you can't do a wrong answer. If you try to put this in the wrong place, it won't stay there. And you hear that little noise it makes? In order to get the full point, you have to put them all in the right place on the first try. There's the sound you get when you get a right answer. So suppose it takes you a few tries to get this and you don't have the full point. Well, all you have to do is click restart and then put them all in the correct place on the first try and you'll get the full point. So when you're doing the soft chalk, that is just an end of chapter practice before you take a test. Every activity has that restart button. The purpose of these end of chapter soft chalks is one last time to practice the material before you take the test. I want you to be able to learn from your mistakes, to redo, to practice makes perfect. So that's why all of these have a restart button. You should get a perfect score on every one of these. There's no reason not to. You can restart it until you do get everything right. You can also redo the entire assignment. So suppose you're working on the soft chalk and something comes up, you don't finish it, or you don't have time to do the restarts or whatever. You can come back, and maybe the next day or a few days later or later that day, whenever you want, you can just click on this again, open the assignment, and do the assignment again. You can do it as many times as you want. It is unlimited attempts. Your highest score is the one that counts. So maybe you have a 9.5 right now, and you're kind of worried about, do I do it again? Because maybe if you only get a 7 the second time, it'll mess up your 9.5. You don't have to worry about that. The highest score of all your attempts is the one that counts in the gradebook. Then there are the soft chalks for lab. So the lab soft chalks are a little bit different. The purpose of lab is that you think your way through, that you use information and you figure things out. So the other components of the class, like the video, that's me explaining everything to you. The purpose of lab is for you to figure stuff out. So in lab, I give you pieces of information. You have to put the pieces together and see the big picture and come to the conclusions. Many of the labs will have little videos. So like here's a little video, you click, you'd watch this video, and then you do an activity. Notice the activities here do not have a restart button. That is because I don't want you to just guess your way through. If they had a restart button, you wouldn't even have to put any thought or effort into the lab. You could just sit here and keep trying random things until you got it right. That's not the point of lab. The point of lab is for you to think. So lab does not have restart buttons. You have to think about it, be careful, make sure you're selecting the answer on the first try. Now, with that being said, I do still believe in having the opportunity to learn from your mistakes and do better. So with the labs, even though the individual activities do not have restart, you can still come back here and redo the whole assignment. So let's say you did the whole entire lab, you were very careful with selecting your answers, you put a lot of thought into it, but maybe you only got 80% on it. And you have learned from your mistakes and you want to do it over and get a 100%. You can come back here and redo the entire assignment for a higher grade. So after you have done the pre-class quiz, which is where you read the chapter, you've watched the videos and you've taken notes, you've done the lab, you did the end of chapter soft chalk to practice everything you learned, then you're ready to take the test. Each test is cumulative. This is because the final exam is comprehensive, and each weekly test is meant to prepare you for the final. So you will always have 10 questions from old chapters and 20 questions from the new chapter. And the questions are randomly drawn from a pool of questions. So I have in the computer a pool of several hundred questions. Every time you take a test, they're randomly drawn from that pool. So no two people will get all the same test questions. You get 2 attempts at the test, and it has a 1-hour time limit. You don't have to take the test twice, but you can if you want to. And the highest score is the one that counts in your grade. At the end of the semester, when you take the final exam, those questions are randomly drawn from the same pool. So even if you get a 100% on your first attempt of the test, it's to your benefit to go ahead and take it a second time. You'll get a different selection of questions when you take it the second time. And that just gives you more questions to be able to study for the final. You always have access to your graded stuff. So once you're done with a test, you can look at your graded test. And you should, every week, look at your graded test, correct anything you got wrong, and keep all those graded tests, because that's what you study for the final. The final exam is made from the same pool of questions that your weekly tests are. Then finally, you will end with some flashcards. So AMP has things to memorize. You just have to memorize certain body parts, be able to recognize them, and know what they do. This is where Quizlet comes in. And this is what you can put on your phone, and then you can study flashcards on your phone. So Quizlet has a lot of fun ways to learn. You can just go through the flashcards like this, where you just look at it like that, and you go to the next one. You can have it give you a practice test. And you have options, like if you want it to be written or matching or multiple choice, how many questions you want. One of the best features of Quizlet is this Learn. This is a great feature. It starts you off easy. It gives you multiple choice. And it goes through all of the questions and it keeps track of what you get right and what you get wrong. And the ones you get wrong, it keeps giving them to you over and over until you get them right. The ones that you get right and you know, it doesn't give them to you as often. Once you've gone through and you've done them all as multiple choice, then it moves on to making it where you have to type the answer in. It gets a little harder. So this program adapts to you, and it's the best way to learn the flashcards. Then once you have studied the flashcards and you know them, you're ready to take the flashcard test. So then you would come right here and you would take the test. With the flashcard test, you have to type your answers in. And the computer cannot think. So you have to make sure that what you type in is exactly what is on the back of the flashcard. If you type in anything at all different, the computer will mark it wrong. Computers can't think. It can only tell if what you typed matches the back of the flashcard. So do your best to make sure you're typing it in the way it is on the back of the flashcard. As you study the flashcards, you should go ahead and get a sheet of paper and write down all of the terms from the back. That way you have them and you're not wondering, well, how was it on the flashcard? That being said, if you do put in a correct answer and you did something slightly different so that the computer marked it wrong, but really your answer is correct, send me an email and tell me which test it is. So like say you did that on this one, you would send me an email that says chapters 17 to 19 flashcard test and which question number. Maybe you'd say question number 5. You would say, I think I had the right answer, the computer marked it wrong, and I can go in and add the point to your answer. Now, you do have to spell things correctly. You can't get points for misspelled words. So as long as you did spell it correctly and maybe you added a comma or you added an extra space or something little like that where it doesn't make your answer wrong, I'll add that point to your score for you. You just have to make sure you let me know that that happened. Okay, another little tip is, as you see, we have lots of assignments here. If you go through as you finish with a module, you can collapse it. And then you don't have to scroll through so much stuff to get to what we're doing that week. When it's the end of the semester and it's time to start studying for the final, and actually you should be studying for the final from day 1, but as it gets closer to the end and you want to study more, all of those practice soft chalks are available here in a module at the bottom of Canvas. These are not linked to the gradebook. So these are just versions of those soft chalks that you can use to study and practice the material for each chapter. It's a good way to help you prepare for the final exam. And if you have any questions, just send me an email. You come over here to inbox, you compose an email, you select teachers, and send me an email. Ask anytime you have questions, you need help. We also have Canvas conferences. That's where we can set up a video chat and we can see each other on the webcams. We can talk to each other. And the Canvas conference has a little whiteboard where I can write stuff and explain things to you. So never hesitate to send an email. And sometimes students ask, like, is it okay if I send an email in the middle of the night? Yes, that's fine. I don't have the email linked up to my phone where it's going to ding and wake me up. I'll get up in the morning and I'll check my email. So if you're studying at 2 in the morning and you want to send me an email, that's fine. Send the email. I'm not going to answer you at 2 in the morning, but when I get up and check email at 8 o'clock in the morning, I'll see your email and I'll answer you. So I hope we have a great semester.